Now it's time for part 2 of our project. Here, we'll look at an example that's already done, and we're going to make these stilts to divide the layers. They're made out of rolled magazine paper. First thing, take a magazine paper and a glue stick, and you're going to fold it not quite in half, leaving a little edge on top. Then fold it again, and that edge on top is where you're going to put the glue. Then, you need to start rolling it, but start by doing it really small, folding it 1 or 2 times to keep things nice and tight. You don't want these rolls to get too big. Continue all the way up, press it down where it's glued together, and voila! You've got a nice rolled paper. Okay, now I've got my 3 layers, and I've got this hot air balloon that I'm going to glue on to the background. But I don't want it to be flat, so I'm going to put a little magazine stilt underneath it to make it stick off the background a little bit. Looks great. Now let's talk about the middle ground. I want to put supports on all 4 corners at least, and probably behind those clouds and behind the parachute guy. Maybe in the middle of the 4 corners. We'll end up seeing how it works out. Here's what I want to do. Use a ruler and measure out 1-inch pieces so that all the supports are the same length. If they're not all the same length, it's going to be kind of odd and it probably won't work out very well. Now it's time to start gluing the stilts onto the back. I'm going to use liquid glue for this, and I'm going to put a dab of glue on the back side of each place where I think I need a stilt. Here I'm putting supports, and I'm actually going to go halfway through those long edges of the frame. Then I'm going to place the stilts in and try to make sure that they're as vertical as possible, so they're not leaning to the side at all. Make them stick up straight vertical. Now that they're dry for the most part, I can add the background. So I'm going to take the liquid glue and put a dab of glue on top of each stilt that's glued down. This way they'll line up perfectly. Don't use too much glue so it globs all over the place, but at the same time you need to make sure that you use enough glue so that it actually sticks together. You're then going to take your background piece, flip it over, glue it down, and kind of lightly press down on it where you think the stilts are. Lightly press down. You can even then flip it over, have a look at it as it dries. Now it's time for the foreground layer. Behind these raindrops and cloud, there's no middle ground layer, so I need a piece that's 2 inches long that's going to extend all the way to the background in order to support that. I've put little 2s in there, so I know that I need 2-inch pieces, and then I'm going to use 1-inch pieces around the border because those are going to attach to the middle ground layer. Once again, putting the glue on there. Now these 2-inch ones, it's going to be important that you make sure that they're vertical, not leaning to either side, so once they're on there you can kind of double check that. Now that all my pieces are dried, I can put the glue on there and then set on the middle ground and the background layers. Use enough glue, put it on the 1-inch and 2-inch stilts. Don't use too much so it kind of globs everywhere, but use enough so it sticks. Now you're going to gently set this foreground layer onto the other middle and background layers. Kind of press it down, line things up, and it should be pretty good. Everything seems pretty secure, pretty solid. Let's take one more look at it down from an angle, from the side. Looks pretty good there. And, all right. Do a good job with this. Have fun. See ya.